All right, friends, we have major breaking news. The MAGA civil war between Donald Trump and Elon Musk has renewed and stunningly escalated, with Trump repeatedly publicly threatening to corruptly abuse the powers of the presidency to terminate Musk's federal subsidies and contracts. And moreover, he is now threatening to denaturalize and deport Musk. But before we unpack all that, if you end up liking this video and you want to support the channel, please be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and alert bells before you go. All right, folks, again, a shocking escalation between these two. As Mediaite and others are reporting, Trump threatens to launch Doge investigation into Elon Musk, send billionaire back home to South Africa. He's also threatening to deport Elon Musk by using Doge. Doge is the monster that might eat Elon. Let's take a look at this. There's a lot to unpack. It started with this tweet. Elon Musk knew long before he so strongly endorsed me for president that I was strongly against the EV mandate. It is ridiculous and was always a major part of my campaign. Electric cars are fine, but not everyone should be forced to own one. Elon may get more subsidy than any human being in history by far, and without those subsidies, Elon would probably have to close up shop and head back home to South Africa. No more rocket launches, satellites, or electric car production, and our country would save a fortune. Perhaps we should have Doge take a good hard look at this. Big money to be saved. Not the first time that Trump has publicly threatened to terminate Musk's contracts and subsidies. So he did it just in the past 12 hours on Truth Social, and then he did it repeatedly on camera, as well as, again, that even bigger escalation to denaturalize and deport Musk. So let's play some of these clips of Trump escalating his feud with Elon Musk.
Elon Musk. Who? What happened to Elon Musk?
Nothing. No, he's upset. He's losing his EV mandate, and he's very upset about things. But he could lose a lot more than that. I can tell you right now. Hey, Elon can lose a lot more than that.
That is the sitting president of the United States threatening the man who was his biggest donor by far and top political advisor for the first 3 months of the Trump administration with losing his government subsidies and contracts. We've never seen a blatant, egregious, corrupt abuse of power like this, but he's doubling down. Here's another clip.
The rest. We got a lot of hostages back, but we're going to talk about that. I don't know. I think we'll have to take a look. We might have to put Doge on Elon. You know what Doge is? Doge is the monster that might have to go back and eat Elon. Wouldn't that be terrible? He gets a lot of subsidies, Peter. But Elon's very upset that the EV mandate is going to be terminated. And you know what? When you look at it, not everybody wants an electric car. I don't want an electric car. I want to have maybe gasoline, maybe electric, maybe a hybrid, maybe someday a hydrogen. If you have a hydrogen car, it has one problem. It blows up, So I'm going to give that one to Peter. I'm going to let Peter test it out.
So yeah, that's Trump threatening to use Doge somehow to deport Elon Musk. So, speaking with reporters ahead of a flight to Florida on Tuesday, Trump was asked about whether he would consider deporting the South African mogul. Quote, "We'll have to take a look." Now, you might think, well, that's hyperbole. I would say, even if that were true, it doesn't matter. The words of the sitting president of the United States do, in fact, matter. But moreover, we have no reason to believe that this is hyperbole, given the deportations, the very often unlawful, unconstitutional deportations of immigrants in this country, some undocumented, others perfectly documented, the black bagging of immigrants and sometimes U.S. citizens who disagree with the Trump administration. And there was a memo released by the DOJ that they are going to prioritize the denaturalization of immigrants that they don't like. So this is part and parcel and perfectly commensurate with Trump's authoritarian push to crack down on immigrants. Elon Musk is a naturalized American citizen, but Trump could try to corruptly abuse the powers of the presidency to have him denaturalized and deported. Why would we think anything else? The rhetoric alone is worth condemning in the strongest possible terms. Words of the sitting president matter. But we have ample reason to believe that Trump is serious about this because he's demonstrating that seriousness with respect to, again, deporting and trying to denaturalize people in other areas as well. Here's another clip of Trump threatening Elon Musk.
What Elon Musk said, what did you make of that? That Republicans that vote for this bill should hang their head in shame?
Look, Elon is not getting his mandate, as you know. He wanted an electric mandate, and he should have known I wouldn't do that. I couldn't do that. I campaigned on this thing for 2 years. I never understand why he did what he did, but he's not going to get his mandate, and he better be careful because he might not get anything else. So. You know what that means, right?
You better be careful. He better be careful because he might not get anything else. You know what that means, right? Shocking, stunning stuff. Shocking in the sense, not that it's out of character for Trump, but that it is so out of line with what we've come to expect from just the sitting president, the presidency as a whole. And I have a counterfactual, a hypothetical for you in just a minute. But how has Elon Musk responded to this? Well, he responded with, so tempting to escalate this. So tempting. But I will refrain for now. Now, as I posted on Truth Social, this kind of makes Elon Musk look like a wimp. All right? And I want to be clear here. Me pointing out the corruption and the corrupt abuse of power by Trump in no way means that I am sympathetic to Elon Musk. As a matter of fact, there's a poetic irony. There's a genuine irony here in what's happening because Musk endorsed Trump, bankrolled Trump to the tune of at least approximately $300 million. He campaigned vigorously for Trump. He bent and warped his social media platform, Twitter, aka X, to benefit Trump. He was Trump's top advisor for the first 3 months of the presidency, so influential and so powerful he might as well have been co-president. Elon Musk is being hoisted by his own petard. He is empowering the very obviously corrupt authoritarian who is now threatening to corruptly and authoritarianly use power against him. This is proof that Elon Musk is in his own way deeply stupid and unprincipled, because this is not a surprise in the sense that this is not out of character with Donald Trump. As I've said before, Donald Trump is not Emperor Palpatine in the Star Wars prequels, pretending publicly to be one thing while internally, privately being something else. He's not Senator and Chancellor Palpatine while secretly being Darth Sidious. Trump is the equivalent of Palpatine being Darth Sidious in public. And people who would vote or support that are kind of stupid in that sense, right? Particularly Elon Musk, who should know better. The leopard is now eating the face. And it's a meme, I never thought the leopard's eating face party would eat my face. That's what we're seeing here. So again, no sympathy or empathy for Elon Musk. As a matter of fact, every time Musk is interviewed, he should be asked this question by reporters. What the hell were you thinking? Given Donald Trump's track record of repeatedly threatening people who disagree with him. And listen, it is true that Trump did campaign on terminating the electric vehicle mandate. So much of this was out in the open. What the hell were you thinking, Elon? What went through your drug-addled brain to make you think it was a good idea to use your considerable wealth and power to back this man? And while that doesn't justify what he's doing, didn't you kind of bring this on yourself? Maybe you should think just a bit more carefully about how you leverage your wealth and power in the future with respect to politics. Maybe. But what's interesting about this is I want you all to imagine, and this is going to be my go-to question for Trump supporters, who will either try to justify this or will ignore or tolerate it. They certainly won't condemn it. And they won't be able to cogently, competently defend it. So they'll try to, they'll either ignore it or try to offer a pithy one-liner. That's it. That will be the extent of MAGA's reaction to this publicly. But my question for MAGA voters and MAGA commentators and influencers is this. I want you all to wind the clock back to 2024, July 2024. That was when Elon Musk publicly endorsed Donald Trump. Joe Biden was the sitting president. Kamala Harris was the sitting vice president, okay? And I want you to imagine that President Biden does exactly what Donald Trump is doing now. Imagine the day after Elon Musk, the world's richest man, endorses Donald Trump, President Biden publicly says, Elon Musk has a lot of contracts and subsidies with the Biden administration and the federal government. He should be really, really careful, very careful, because he might lose those subsidies. He might lose those contracts. Hell, as a matter of fact, we might have to look into denaturalizing and deporting him. And I understand a lot of MAGA, that's the Trump card. They have no response to this. They'll be like, well, that's different. It's not different. Because the reason Trump is threatening to corruptly abuse the powers of the presidency today against Elon is because Elon is publicly criticizing Trump's one big beautiful bill and threatening to fund primary challengers to Republicans who support the one big beautiful bill. He has every legal right to do so. And actually, that's an irony too, because it's been Republicans, not Democrats, it's been Republicans who have so vigorously supported reducing campaign finance regulations and constraints, thus allowing big conservative donors like Elon Musk to leverage the power of their money behind Republican candidates. Republicans have created the circumstances where somebody like Elon Musk can threaten to have a disproportionate and outsized influence on the electorate. And they created that situation. Not Democrats, not liberals, not conservative, or not progressives. Conservatives and Republicans did that, hoping that big money would flow to them. And they were happy. They were eager. They were so excited to take Musk's endorsement, his campaigning, his social media presence, and his money. But now that Musk is threatening to, by his own constitutional right, just apply that money elsewhere, well, instead of backing you, Trump, and Trump-supporting Republicans, I'll back non-Trump-supporting conservatives or Republicans, or maybe even Democrats. Then Trump is like, whoa, you can't do that. Your money is my money. It's for me. It's mine. And if you go to do that, then I'm going to take away your toys. So just imagine it's 2024 and President Biden says something similar on very similar grounds. You know what? You don't get to use your money to back political candidates and political causes that I don't like. How dare you endorse and campaign and fundraise for Donald Trump and bankroll Donald Trump and the Republicans when you have contracts with the Biden administration? So make your choice, Elon. If you go through with this, I'll snap my fingers and terminate the contracts and subsidies, and then we're going to start the process of denaturalizing and deporting you. MAGA and Trump and Elon and the right, and quite frankly, most liberals and even progressives would be like, that's really fucked up and corrupt. But will conservatives and enlightened centrists say the same thing about what Trump is doing here? Probably not. But the fact of the matter is, Trump is extraordinarily corrupt. Objectively, this is just further proof to Elon and everybody else that Donald Trump, by far, objectively, is the most corrupt and authoritarian president in the history of the United States, bar none. And if you thought otherwise, you're either a liar or a moron, because it was obvious from the fucking beginning. And I'm tired of mincing my words and pretending otherwise. Use your head, people. In the meantime, let me know what you think in the comments.